You're listening to Incorporating Superpowers with the voice of reason, risk mitigation expert, and former counterintelligence agent, Justin Recla. Get ready to rip apart the veil as we dismantle old school business and prepare for what comes next. Business will never be the same.
Welcome back to Incorporating Superpowers. Today, we're going to look to the future. We're going to actually look at how you can franchise your future. My guest today is Kim Daly. She is a franchise expert, business coach, and motivational speaker. She's been around the block, done a thing or two, and she is passionate about helping people secure their future through franchise, and more importantly, through mindset of what it comes to take to own a franchise, because anybody can own a franchise, but it takes a different beast to have a successful franchise. Kim, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for that introduction. And that is all 100% true.
So Kim, talk to me. How did you get into franchising? I mean, this is an area of business that not everybody dives into, right? For the starting entrepreneur, it's big and scary. For the consumer, it's what's that? And for people who understand business, they know that it is a phenomenal tool to increase your wealth, have an impact, and do something that's fun. So how did you get into it?
Yeah. So like so many people in the franchise industry, Justin, I sort of fell into franchising. Like franchising sort of finds us. We don't normally, find it. People who are in career transition, investors who are looking for diversification in their portfolio, entrepreneurs who have struggled enough as business owners and say, somebody, please just give me a proven business plan and let me get to the fun part of making money. I was in that category. I was an entrepreneur for 5 years, and I was looking for more than the very lonely startup world of entrepreneurship. Franchising afforded me an opportunity to have a proven business plan, to be in business for myself, but not by myself. So I'm partnered with other people who can coach and mentor me, who can continue to kind of like grow my opportunity, watching the market, watching the economic time, and just growing what I do and keeping it relevant. And really, that's the value proposition of a franchise. It's buying down the learning curve of starting a business because you're partnering yourself with people who've already done it. You get to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So we work collaboratively together, and we all know that together we are always stronger.
Oh, you said two of my favorite things. Yes, together we are always stronger, and collaboration. That piece right there is essential. And I got to be honest, I not being a franchise owner, right? We're a niche podcast network. We're a niche community of, a spiritual community where people come together and learn and train in the personal development sector. I never saw franchising that. I always saw franchising like, it's this thing that you're going to get, it's a goal of a business owner to, right? Like one day I'm going to create a franchise, right? I've always seen it from the perspective of me being the business owner wanting to create franchises because of that collaboration piece. I never really looked at it from the other perspective of like, oh, wait, this is another way to collaborate with people who have already done it. I absolutely love that take on it because you don't have to build it from the ground up.
Exactly. Yeah. So the average person who doesn't have an MBA, who maybe has worked in corporate America as a team leader or sometimes even as individual contributors, but they have the desire for more. They're tired of working for a company that doesn't represent who they are personally. They're tired of working for a company that makes decisions about their quality of life. They're tired of hitting a glass ceiling or feeling like they just can't really get ahead no matter how hard they're working for somebody else. All of those people can come to the idea of owning their future when they explore a franchise. Because again, you don't have to have an MBA, you don't have to have prior business experience, because you're going into business with other people who can train and support you. So you just have to come to the table with a little bit of money, because it's an investment, and a lot of courage, and someone like me, the daily coach, who is a franchise consultant, who can help guide your process to help you figure out, well, what would be the right type of franchise for me? What can I afford to do? What would I enjoy doing? Because many times once people start thinking about owning a franchise, they consider kind of like what their community is missing, or, what they think they might enjoy operating. But when they come to the daily coach, I sort of sweep the leg on all of that. And we kind of zoom out to, what are you trying to achieve in your business? I'm infinitely more interested in what you're trying to achieve. What is the vision for your future? When I understand where you're trying to go and in what time frame, then I can provide the vehicle. That is all the franchise business is. It's just the pass-through vehicle that can drive your life personally, professionally, and financially to that new place. So what it really comes down to is my candidates have to be clear on what they want. And isn't that infinitely hard, Justin? So I love it when you're like, what do you really want? It's like, most of us are too afraid to admit what we really want. But if we admit it with clarity, we can usually figure out how to get it.
I love that. That is such an important piece of figuring out that business game. Even if you're not getting into franchising business, that's just the foundational principle, right? Of what do you want? What do you want to do? And in the franchise world, you have your pick of the litter, right? There's so many different franchising opportunities that there are opportunities out there that are going to be a good fit. And having somebody like you on your side is essential, because to sort through what works, what doesn't work, systems, processes, all that kind of stuff that goes into owning a franchise, you don't want to go into it blind. And having a coach on your side is essential, right? It's part of that collaboration. Kim, we're going to get ready to go on break here, but before we do, where can people go find out more information about you?
The best place to learn more about me is through kimdaly.tv. I am building one of the largest content resources on the internet at kimdaly.tv. Please definitely check it out.
Fantastic, folks. Go check out Kim's site. Go take a look, especially if you're wanting to learn more about franchising and how that might fit into your business plan, into your transition plan, into your life plan. Go take a look at Kim and what she's doing in the world. When we get back from the break, we're going to talk more about franchising. We're going to pick your brain a little bit more, Kim, on the backside of this as to the ins and outs of franchising, things that people should be taking a look at and consider for themselves all around when we get back from this break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to the Superpower Network. If you're ready to transform yourself and transform the world through podcasting, we invite you to join us. We co-create a non-competitive, collaborative environment designed to support you as you step into your greatness. Go now to superpowerexperts.com and click on the Programs tab to get started today.
Welcome back to Incorporating Superpowers. My guest today is Kim Daly. She is a franchise expert, a business coach, and a motivational speaker. And before the break, we were just talking about the power of franchising and what it can do for you and your business. We're also taking a look at some of the things that go into what you need to know before you get into owning a franchise. And one of those points was knowing what you want. So, Kim, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Knowing what you want is something that we all struggle with, right? That's especially, in everyday situations. But when it comes to a franchise, what are some of the key elements that people consider getting into a franchise for? I mean, what are the reasons why they get into a franchise? I mean, why should I get into a McDonald's franchise versus a Pizza Hut franchise? Right, just as an example. What helps people make that decision for themselves?
Okay, so first, as the daily coach, Justin, what I'm going to guide people to is an understanding that when you invest in a franchise, you are not buying a brand. You are not buying a widget. You are buying people. You are buying leadership. So one of the most important things you can do when you're investigating a franchise is align yourself with people who have a vision that inspires you, right? So when you find people that have a vision and then they have a toolbox, a marketing, training, technology that you say, okay, even though I don't have any experience in this business today, it seems like if I do what they tell me to do, I can probably be reasonably successful. And then you're going to go out and you're going to validate with other franchise owners. So the people who've already raised their hand and said yes to this, and you're going to see out of the real world, how is it working for them? Are they happy knowing what they know now? Would they do it again? If they look back and say, okay, if I could start over, what would they do differently? What would they say to you? Their hindsight is gold to you. So that's sort of like where I direct people's attention. Now, when it comes to selecting the right business, there's a whole process that I take candidates through that helps me learn about them personally, professionally, and financially. So I don't want to know like what you did in your corporate job unless what you did in your corporate job is what you feel you're good at and what you enjoy doing. There are many people who've worked in jobs that sadly they didn't even enjoy. Well, I don't want to recreate that world for you, right? I want to know, like, I'll have people say to me, like, oftentimes I'll get like a guy in corporate America who has led global teams, but he says, you know what I really love to get up and do? And then I'm leaning forward in my seat. Yes. What are you going to say to me? I really loved coaching my son's baseball team. That is infinitely more important to me. What is it about coaching? Is it about being around the kids? Is it about influencing people? Is it about being in a fun, active, environment? If we can dissect that, then I can bring opportunities aligned to that passion. So it's not necessarily what you've done before, it's what you enjoy doing. When you wake up, what environment do you want to be in? What kind of leader do you want to be? Who do you want to create jobs for in your community? Or do you want to create jobs for anybody? So if you want the scale of a business that doesn't allow you to have to be there or require you to have to be there, you have to have people. Somebody has to be working the business, right? So if we don't want to create an opportunity where the business solely depends on you, we need other people. And then the last part of this, Justin, is we look at that exit strategy. So franchise businesses, well, all businesses, in my opinion, are built to be sold because ultimately this is an investment that produces cash flow, builds equity, and provide tax advantages. When you go to Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, How the Rich Get Richer and the Poor and the Middle Class Stay the Same, what he basically sums up and says is that 90% of millionaires own their own business. Well, franchising allows the average person with no prior experience in owning a business to own their own business and be successful. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I can help people who have no experience, but who have a dream for freedom, control, stability, building a legacy for their family. And I can help them achieve that dream through the proven systems of a franchise backed by very strong leadership. And that's where I come in because I have 19 years of experience in relationship that my candidates get to leverage. Because ultimately, again, it is the people that you're buying first. The widget becomes obsolete if the people behind the widget aren't continuing to advance and grow that widget, right? When the doors closed in 2020, they didn't reopen on their own. They reopened because of strong leadership, because of leaders who inspired their franchisees to how to safely reopen and to get out of that emotional fetal position and say, we can do this. We can continue to serve our customers and to keep growing our brand in the face of the biggest challenge or obstacle, the world has seen in our time. And I sat back, Justin, and watched in amazement at the leaders that I am partnered with. And I have so many stories on Kim Daly TV where I've interviewed the CEOs, presidents of franchise brands, some companies that intuitively you would say, there's no way that reopened safely in July of 2020. And I'll say, oh yeah, go to Kim Daly TV and look at some of those interviews because there were beauty brands, fitness brands, things that you would say, there's no way, but they did. How did they do it? Got to go check out the interviews. But it all comes back to strong leadership.
Well, strong leadership and in recognizing that in business, right? we get to create the path in front of us, right? It's a little bit different when you're an employee, but if you're an employee of a solid business, then you have those opportunities as well. But within business, we get to decide the path that we walk. And I love the fact that you bring it back to what drives you, the surrounding yourself with the right people, because nothing gets done on its own, right? And making that the focus before you decide to get into a franchise. Because while sure, maybe owning a McDonald's franchise or whatever fast food franchise is available out there, is that really what feeds you, right? Is that what really drives you at the end of the day? And if it's solely to make money, you might as well stay in your job, because you can have a bigger impact in that work environment. Because with a franchise, as a business owner, you are going to have such a bigger impact. And if you're only focused on the money, you miss all the people that make it possible. And I love the fact that you bring that the people aspect into your process.
And you know what I'll even say further, Justin, one extra point on that is I know this 100% to be true because I have lived it. You will only make the money that you aspire to make when you become the owner worthy of that money. So people who chase money will chase money forever. They'll never have it. But people who provide value, who wake up to serve others, whether that's their employees, their customers, or both, those people will eventually make the kind of money that they are worthy of making.
So true. So true. Kim, this conversation around franchising is one that we don't often explore here on Incorporating Superpowers. We get a lot of people that are in business, that have been doing business. They're not franchising or they're not franchise owners, but they're out there making an impact in business themselves. And so I love the fact that we're talking about franchising because it is such a phenomenal tool for transition. I know when I left government back, 10 years ago now, right, and stepped into the entrepreneurial world, not knowing anything about it, we had to go learn everything about business that there possibly was. And I mean, to this point where anything and everything that we do is at the enterprise level because we've learned it from the ground up. But had I known about franchising back when I left government, it would have probably been a more accelerated path and learning business. And I don't get me wrong, I don't regret the choices I've made. I love where we're at in life. I'm in the jacuzzi 3 times a day, so I can't complain, right? But had knowing about franchising back when I left government, that would have been such a phenomenal transition tool for how to get out of government, how to get into military, and start looking at franchising as a way of replacing a job, but still allowing me the freedoms that me and my wife, we were seeking from leaving the job.
Correct. Stability. Yes. Yes. And one point I want to make, Justin, is, a lot of times when people think about franchising, they think about the food that we all consume. Well, hopefully we don't if we eat healthy, but the food, and we think about retail. But as one of America's top franchise consultants, I mean, I am blessed to help so many people say yes to their dream to own a business. And in 19 years, soon to be 20 years, I think I have placed less than a dozen people into food. And I have never helped anybody get into like pure retail, like we're a lot of inventory. So there are a lot of franchise businesses out there that people are not aware are franchise businesses. There's business to business products and services. There are products and services that serve children, that serve elderly, that serve schools, that serve, homeowners. So there are so many different types of business opportunities out there. We are not limited to food and retail. And in fact, if you come to me, you will have to beg me to show you food because there are just faster, easier, better ways to make money. And when I work with candidates one-on-one, one of the first conversations we have is about what your money buys. So I think before people start saying, well, I have this much money to invest, it's helpful to know what money buys. And then to answer that question, how much they want to invest. And I can correlate the owner's time commitment in a business, where the business operates from, with the level of investment. And when I take people through this, and I never make any earnings claims to anybody or anything like that, but when I can set it up for them one-on-one and then relate it to their net worth and their skills and the owner that they want to be, I can like 99.9% of the time show the people why they do not want to own a food or a retail-based business. And once they see what their money buys and they understand it, it's not even logical to invest in food. So people would be like, well, then why do people do it? Well, because as many people as I'm blessed to help, I don't help everybody. And there are a lot of people out there that just say, oh, my community doesn't have a Jimmy John's, and so I'm going to go be the one to open it. And they don't know any better and they do it. And so then they, and that's not to say that there's not a lot of people out there enjoying their life as food franchisees and making lots of money in that opportunity. I'm not saying that at all. Just for the average person, usually it's very refreshing. If they're coming from a corporate life, they don't want to work nights and weekends and holidays, and they want to keep a quality of life maybe that is more similar to an executive quality of life. And there are opportunities out there, and they find them through someone like me, and they usually find it very refreshing.
So much fun. So much fun. There's a lot of opportunity out there. I'm glad to know that you exist. Because it was my experience in the franchise world, again, was very touch and go. I didn't know a lot about it, but had I known you, I imagine those conversations would have gone a lot differently. Kim, where can our listeners go to find more information about you?
Yep. The last thing I want to say, Justin, is my services are free. You would never pay me any money for everything that I do. I would welcome anyone who this conversation has inspired, whether you're an investor looking for diversification in your real estate portfolio or cryptocurrency portfolio, looking for something more solid, a better place in the stock market to put your money, or you're a career type in W-2, employee looking for more options, you're in career transition, you're looking for stability, you're looking to build a legacy for your family, I would welcome you to reach out to me. You can go to my YouTube channel, kimdaly.tv, where I have hundreds of videos on all things franchising, mindset coaching, how to be successful, how not to fail, how not to lose money, all those great questions that everybody wants asked. That everybody wants answered. I have answered those on Kim Daly TV. If you want to reach directly out to me, you can go to my website, which is thedailycoach.com. And that's DALY, thedailycoach.com.
Fantastic, folks. If you've ever considered getting into being a franchise owner, want a franchise, you just want to learn more about franchising and what it can do for you and your portfolio, reach out to Kim. And until next time, folks, go out there, incorporate your own superpowers so you can change the world. Take care.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the superpower quiz today.